Christian Ponder, quarterback, Florida State.
Coming to you now in mid-quality audio, brought to you in part by FNS Delivers. From your Vikings game day headquarters, right Mandarin at the Eden Prairie Center. It's football talk like you've never heard before. Get ready for America's favorite Minnesota Vikings podcast. With your hosts, Sticky.
I really hated what he did. I hope he starts on fire.
And Bun.
You have gotten naked and are standing right in front of me and are doing thrust.
It's the Sticky Buns Fun Time Happy Football Program. Ladies and gentlemen, Sticky and Bun.
All right, we are special bye-week episode. We were hoping to have more than one, but episodes over this time period. But we're just going to do one special one on Sunday, so you'll probably hear us swearing about fantasy football and the game that we're watching.
Probably.
I hope so. What are you drinking, Luke?
I am drinking. We are sponsored, even though they have no knowledge of this sponsor. DiSerono.
That's not a sponsorship. That's
Listen,
us sponsoring them, if anything.
The people don't need to know, okay? And we're also sponsored by intern Jeff.
Awesome.
He spent a lot of money on our sponsorship.
Yep.
That was a really
Why would
deep
that be
question.
anyone's booze of choice?
That's a good question. We had that on Facebook, which we just recently put out there, that you should ask questions. The question was, why would anyone drink that, which is what you just said.
Yep, and there was also the question, is this what you're drinking during the Bears game?
Doubtful that that's what I drink during the Bears game, because, it's extremely tasty. It is my beverage of choice. But if I want to drink during a game and prolong my exposure, I would not choose DiSerono, probably because I'm a consumer. I like to consume things. So I'd rather go for like a beer or a cider, which would take a much longer time to have its desired effects, versus a DiSerono, which has a higher alcohol content. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay, so we've answered the Bears question. The real question of why would you drink that? It's fucking great. It is smooth as silk. It smells delicious. Even ask intern Jeff. And as Eric Brown, my wonderful, wonderful redhead lover that I worked with one summer, he says, whenever I enjoy a glass of DiSerono, it makes me think of you. Because it's fantastic. So, Colin, eat a dick. I probably shouldn't say that on our podcast.
We have said so many worse things on our podcast to people who actually are listening to the podcast potentially.
We should, but we have one guy who listens at least once.
Me?
No, not you. You listen at least 4 times every time. We've already established this. My friend Eric listened to it in his car, and his daughter complained that I was not speaking very kindly and he was using too many potty words. He thought it was entertaining, but I feel bad every time I swear or say something bad because his daughter listened at least once.
I think he learned his lesson.
He is a very smart man, but I feel like he probably doesn't actually care.
Okay.
And I'm kind of interested in what intern Jeff just said, but I have no idea what he actually said.
I think you guys just went over your entire viewership.
We just exploded with viewership. We may be past.
I think he meant that we've talked about every single viewer we have.
We've also talked about people who are commenting on things but have never actually listened.
Yeah. What was the other question again? That's right. Why are you so dickhead?
Why am I a dickhead? Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask my wife, I was probably born that way. If you ask my employees for the business I run, they probably also say somewhere that I hate people, or I hate people, or I'm born that way. I don't know. Why am I a dickhead? You answer this, Bun. You get to speak to me frequently.
You're just someone who enjoys arguing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that just...
I love a debate.
You do.
I love a debate more than I love the masturbate. I just love when two minds hash it out and I win. Did you want me to lie?
So, do you not enjoy it when you don't win? When it's unsettled?
That doesn't happen.
There are times it's unsettled, at least.
Not for me. That may happen. Go Frank Gore! Cheating Saints. That may happen for you. That does not happen for me.
See, I feel like you haven't won a debate until the other person is forced to concede.
I
Or
will
at
say,
least has nothing else to say and doesn't go down the road of, we'll just have to agree to disagree.
I will say, on this planet, literally on this planet, there is so far only one person who has ever gotten me to semi-concede an argument, and that was you. And I literally told my wife at the time, I started just taking shots. I just filled the shot glass.
So it wasn't that I actually convinced you, you just
No.
gave up.
I surrendered wholeheartedly. I was invaded. I just took shot after shot, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And all I said was, "Nick makes me drink."
What was the argument about?
I don't even remember. It was,
some Viking-related thing because it was that
course.
Great Mandarin.
but it didn't happen till afterwards. I was so irate that I went home and drank.
Did you really? I did
Yes.
not know that. I knew you drank a Great Mandarin.
Yeah, she was just like, "What is wrong with you? I don't take shots typically. I'm not in college.
We're
I'm-
taking shots at home. That's awesome.
I'm over 30. I was taking shots alone at home because my wife was not drinking. So my dog is staring at me funny. My cats clearly don't care. My wife was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I just said, "Nick."
And what did your wife say about that?
She just laughed and she said, "You have to tell him." And I think I told you.
Yep.
You caused me to drink.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the same. I don't even remember what the argument was, but that was the same time period when you said, "I am no longer your friend."
I think I've said similar things many times.
Probably. We have a very love, I hate you, love relationship,
Yeah, that's fair.
including over individual plays, individual teams, world aspects. I don't really know. We don't go into that, but it runs the gamut.
It really does.
It's like we're married.
We really had quite the argument over I Am this whole week.
my
And the
God,
funny
did
thing
we?
is, I don't think we actually disagree that much.
We don't.
We're very close, but my God, did we argue over this?
It's literally splitting hairs.
Mm-hmm.
We're that close, but neither of us agrees that it's splitting hairs. So we stand like with our toes up to the line, guns drawn, refusing to back down. Should we talk about that play?
I think we should talk about that play. The play we're discussing and have been discussing, and my God, I hope this doesn't take half an hour.
It might.
It could.
It would probably be entertaining to the masses.
But there was a play last week.
Does that affect you?
Let me swallow first.
The intern asked if that was a fat joke.
It was not a fat joke.
Yeah. But no, there was a play during the Vikings game last week where Patterson was just crazy wide open. The cornerback
Ridiculous wide open.
gave him up to the safety. Oh, shit.
Fuck you, Kaepernick.
Kaepernick just got sacked.
I mean, I'm happy I'm playing Kaepernick in fantasy, but
yeah, now the Saints.
I
Now
hate
Drew
the
Brees is going to just
Saints.
continue to screw me over in fantasy football. And
Rob
it's
Ryan
not
and
gonna
your
be
long
happy.
hair.
This
This might be our best podcast.
it
ever.
might be.
Oh, and he's got a wide open Crabtree. Story of the Vikings' lives. Except we don't have Crabtree.
Yeah, and now they're punting, so Drew Brees can get more points. But the cornerback thought he had safety help on Patterson, so he just let Patterson run. The safety did not agree with the DB's understanding of the defense they were in. I don't have any clue who was right.
The safety had to have either been in the box or off the field because there was no one within
Yeah.
like 20 yards.
Yeah.
This is like NFL playing high school.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible. And the ball was thrown deeper than Patterson was. I'll put it that way. Because I know overthrow is not the way Luke likes to refer to this play. Because it does it, or Patterson did clearly give up on the play. He did not go all out, and he even seemed to slow down a little bit, although I think some people overstated the slowdown. He didn't, completely stop. But he definitely did, stutter a little bit, stutter step it a bit. And so the ball sailed over his head. And I was very upset with Bridgewater because I felt this play should be underthrown. It needs to be complete. And Luke gave a larger percentage of the blame to Patterson than I did. And just thought Patterson should have gone all out, that the ball was actually perfectly thrown if he would have just kept going. I believe am I stating your case correctly, that you thought the ball was basically perfectly thrown? In fact, I think you even tried to claim at one point it was actually underthrown if Patterson would have kept going all out.
Okay, well, here's the problem with your statements.
Please.
I never said it was perfectly thrown.
Okay.
But
you did say underthrown at one point.
Yes, because your first argument to me was you have to underthrow that,
and I stand by mine,
just for the fact that the receiver needs to just be able to catch it.
Yep.
And if there's no one around, there's no reason you can't just underthrow it a little bit anyway, and then he can do whatever he wants to score.
Yep.
Okay. I mildly agree with that. Okay? But Patterson has got to be one of the fastest players on our team. Especially for the wide receiver. He's probably the fastest. I think Jarius Wright is very fast. I'm always confused at how he doesn't play more, but I'm sure they have much more information than I do. And maybe he's just a really excellent third wide receiver, which is still fine. But if he's the fastest, because speed is one of the things he was known for in the college. It was not hands. It was not route running.
No.
It was freakish athletic ability and speed. Okay? So if he runs, if it's a go route, obviously it's a go route. So if he just goes the whole way, then that ball, by definition, is underthrown because he can run faster and farther than that.
I don't know that he could have ran it so that it would have been considered underthrown.
See, but...
And he doesn't have the burst we've seen previous years. He definitely is getting better. He is getting closer, but there is certainly some burst lacking.
I agree with that, but so I didn't agree with the statement that it was underthrown until I watched multiple replays and slow motion captures, okay? So it's clear that when he gets up to the defender, he slows down a lot, but a lot for him, not for the real world. But I feel like if he were Greg Jennings, a smarter football player, that he's doing that to bait the defender a bit. I don't know that to be reality. That's just an assumption. And then he starts going again. I'm fine with that. Obviously, when he sees that the ball is maybe out of his reach,
he gives up entirely.
Oh, he gives up 100%.
Yeah.
But therein lies the problem. Because I saw a still frame of when the ball is just above his head. So it's about a millimeter of a second before it's inside catching range, right? It's just in that neck of the woods. It is about 1.5 yards in front of him. 1.5 yards. So if he extends
above him, is that what you're saying?
Kind of. I'm following the trajectory. It's out. If he just puts his hands out, it's too far ahead. Okay? If he lays out, he could probably catch that. I don't want him to lay out because I don't trust that he's got enough time to get up and still score. I want him to run through it and get a touchdown. So since he slowed down twice on the same effing play, if he doesn't, he is much more than 1.5 yards down the field. He's got to come back to that ball, and it's underthrown, which is fine.
I don't know that he'd have to come back so much as he wouldn't have to be going full speed. I do think
Sure,
No,
or
we
he
don't-
stops, right?
Now, see, the first stop is curious because, first of all, I
It is
think
curious. I agree.
Bridgewater saw that first stop before he let go of the ball.
Possibly.
It looked to me like he did. It kind of sounded like, and see, I don't know this, but it kind of sounded like the go route was not the route Patterson expected to run that play. It kind of sounds like, reading between the lines of what Zimmer said, was Patterson was supposed to actually, stop, go to the sideline or something, and instead he saw, holy shit, there is no one near me, I'm just going to keep going. And then there was disagreement, or at least not clear communication, of, in that situation, where Patterson is going to run on the field.
See, I don't agree with that at all.
Okay.
Because, so Zimmer, I love Mike Zimmer.
Yes, you do.
I will have sexual relations with him if he asks. He came out and said that we're not precise enough and that they're on different pages. We already know through other conferences that he's had that he thinks Teddy is by and large very accurate, but sometimes he's not on the same page as the wide receivers. That completely understandable. Rookie quarterback. He didn't spend camp running all the number ones. He spent a good portion of it splitting hairs with Castle, so that's fine. But so we're not on the same page. So if Zimmer is saying that we're not precise enough, that indicates to me that Cordero was supposed to run the go route the whole way, because if Teddy sees that the route is altered, then he doesn't say we're not precise enough. He just says we just didn't hit on it, because that has nothing to do with precision. That's an adjustment mid time. The precision part comes into play because if Patterson runs the go route completely the way it's supposed to be run, then he catches that ball. It's an easy touchdown. Teddy Bridgewater has an amazing amount of points, and the San Francisco 49ers beat the New Orleans Saints in overtime. I don't know how, but I am thankful to God, because I hate the cheating Saints almost as much as the fucking Bears. Go Packers!
And you hate what? What?
I know.
No,
I know.
no.
Listen.
No, boo! We all hate you now. Everyone hates Luke.
I generally hate the Packers, but if they're playing the Bears, I like nothing more than the Bears to lose. I effing hate the Bears. I always want to go to a game at Soldier Field, but I will kill someone or be killed, because I will wear that Vikings jersey, and halfway through the first quarter, if we're in the lead, I will trash talk like nobody's business and probably be beaten to an inch of my life. That is the only reason I've never gone to an away Bears game. That's the only reason. I admire the field. I want to go. It's close enough that, it takes, 7 hours to get there. Big deal. I don't care. I'd ride a train. I'd be drunk on the train. Who cares? I even have friends who live in Chicago who would just put me up for free if I wanted to. But the only reason I don't is someone would be murdered. Either a Bears fan, or multiple of them, because I would snap all their necks, or
I think
would
you
be killed.
overestimate. I mean, I don't know what you are like in a fight. I'm sure you could take me. I do feel like you are overestimating your own fighting ability.
I am not. I am strong, but there are lots of people stronger. I will 100% admit that. But I have two things that the majority of the human race does not. Are you ready for this, Mr. Bunn?
I can't wait.
Number one, I have extensive experience in wrestling. So I know leverage, and I know how to use my body in contorted fashion. Plus, because of wrestling, my hands, as small as they are extremely strong. And I know how to use my legs like nobody's business. But the other thing I have is a killer instinct. There's a reason I have Dragon Ball Z tattooed on my arm into my chest.
That is,
And that is because
leave that alone.
I have a failure to give up. I could be almost dead, and I will still come after you. So it's a good thing that I'm a lover, not a fighter, because I'd be in jail.
You're a lover, not a fighter.
Oh,
Didn't we just talk
absolutely.
about how all you want to do is fight and argue?
No, Bears fans.
No, I mean in general.
Oh, mentally argue, sure. I would never fight you.
I think you've come close.
Oh, I've come very close. But, oh, yes, Russell just sent interception. What's his name? Russell
Wilson?
Okun? Whatever his name. It doesn't matter. Torres Jackson has a Super Bowl ring. That's what matters. So, yeah, there is not a team. I thought I hated the Saints from the 2009 championship when they cheated the F out of the game. That wasn't necessarily their fault. If the refs are going to screw you and give you those things, you take them. If they were on the other side, I'd be applauding the Vikings. But they weren't, so I blame the refs mostly. There is not a team I hate more than the Bears. And I hated them less before they traded for Jay Cutler. When they got Jay Cutler, the hate
you really hate Jay Cutler.
Exploded.
Can you go more into why you hate Jay Cutler so much?
Oh, my God.
It's
got a lid on it. It's got a lid.
It has a lid. Everything is okay, everyone.
The bun just spilled his lemonade.
I did not spill. I tipped it over, but it has a lid, as you said.
See, if you waited long enough, I'd say, but miraculously, he put the lid on. It is.
I'm going to have some.
It is a special lemonade, is it not?
Not really. It's just carbonated.
Well, that just means that Scarlett Johansson basically made it for you, and so you are drinking a gift from Scarlett.
Thank you, Scarlett.
She's a beautiful woman.
She is.
I feel like every movie she makes, she's trying to not be Scarlett Johansson, so it's weirded me out a little bit. Why do I hate Jay Cutler? Multiple reasons. He stands for, like, everything I don't.
He stands for things?
He is... Okay, so I don't... It's the NFC Championship game where he did not come out for halftime against the Packers. When he... what was the injury he had? Was it a knee?
It was some leg injury.
It was either a ligament in the knee or ACL or something. Isn't that in the knee? Doesn't matter. The problem... I did not have a problem with that. Weird, because everyone else in the world did. But he is such an effing baby. Every call against him, it's like the NFL predetermined he is the worst quarterback and never gets calls. Every time something bad happens on his team, it's not his fault. It's someone else's fault. He is not a good leader. He is a crybaby. He has, oh my God, he has so many physical tools. He literally should be one of the most amazing quarterbacks ever.
See, I really enjoy his improvisational plays.
Absolutely.
He is very good at that.
He is Brett Favre-ish. He can make things happen. But the problem...
My dream of having podcasts where Brett Favre would never be mentioned has just been spoiled forever.
Boom. The reason he's not Brett Favre is because Brett Favre would play until his dying breath. If Brett Favre is getting just smoked, he stands in there and delivers the ball and doesn't complain. Cutler, on the other hand, maybe stands in there and delivers the ball if it suits him, if he feels like it, but then complains that someone didn't do their job. That's ridiculous. I hate people like that. I hate people who blame the entire problem of everything around them on someone else.
Now, see, you say that, but since we've broken out the F word, the F word also frequently point.
You mean frog? That F word?
No.
Say it. Say the F word. Do it. Ooh,
No,
I
it's not
love
French.
French's onions. That's why I love green bean casserole. Oh my God, I hate onions, but French's onions? Come on. No. I like how they cook, so I'll put like onion powder in cooking, but onions in general, no thank you. Is that too much for you? Was that too
Number
much of a
4, whenever he would throw an interception or throw a bad pass, he would just start pointing.
Yeah, okay.
And I hated
agree.
that no one ever called him out for that because so many other quarterbacks, like a Jay Cutler, do get pointed out. If they point at someone, they're instantly, oh boy, why are you pointing to him on the field when you threw it straight at someone?
Okay, are you ready to go deep inside the rabbit hole?
Oh boy.
Okay, so I
was about to say, which is the pill where I don't have to go down the... No, talk.
I
Lance.
actually agree with you 100%, but here's the problem, and it actually didn't come to light for me until Sage Rosenfeld gave an interview about Brett Favre this year, early in the Viking season. Local radio station was interviewing him about his experience with Favre, how it went.
Was it Paul Allen?
Yes, of course it was. The Vox. But I always admired Favre because he never quit. So I remember being at a Christmas Eve game against the Vikings at the Metrodome. Chris Claiborne intercepts Brett Favre, runs it back for a touchdown. I don't even like Chris Claiborne that particularly much, but he was a good middle linebacker for a couple years. And we went ahead, but there was 1:37 left, and I looked at my dad in the 7th row in the lower level, and I said, that was way too fast. This is not going to work out. And sure enough, 40 seconds left in the half, or in the game. 40 seconds. And Green Bay is at the 25-yard line. So they can just run straight plays because it doesn't matter. They're going to score a field goal to go ahead and win. And they did, and I was so pissed off. But he never quit. He was always calm, cool, and collect. But it wasn't until Sage gave an interview where he was asked about Favre. And they were talking about a particular play. And this is where Favre's genius comes into play. Which is weird, because I never thought him to be a genius. He thought and lived so much football that literally one play, one nondescript, it could be a fucking draw, but he saw 75 outcomes. He saw them all. And as a business owner, I see those all the time. And people think I'm crazy, that I think that there are so many options. I get excited, and I try and pick the one that yields the highest percentage. And it was a strange play. It was in the preseason, and Favre said, "Why don't you do this?" And Sage is like, "Well, we've got this set of downs. We have the ball here. What do you think?" This is the play call that was called. We were about to start a 1st and 10. And Favre literally told him like 7 different outcomes for the one play that was called. And Sage just said, "Stop. I just wanted to know how you felt. I don't care." But that spoke volumes to me that Favre all he sees is possibilities. That's what I love about Brett Favre. I hated him as a Packer, mostly because he would beat the snot out of us. But it's that love, it's that nonstop seeing options things that changes how I feel about him.
So it makes you overlook the point.
Absolutely, because when he points, the problem is no one else shares that. Maybe the coaching staff, but I'm positive, without knowing it, I'm positive they don't see those outcomes. They see very finite outcomes, right? You choose this play because of the statistics that should win you out, because of the percentages, high or low, whatever the case, right? They're very laser focused into singular outcomes. Brett Favre isn't. He sees 100 different outcomes. That's why he was always the gunslinger. He took chances. Cutler takes chances. But Cutler, I feel, just takes random chances. He hasn't thought about the outcomes. And when Brett Favre would point out his compadres accepted it because they knew he was trying to see it through a different lens. I don't feel like Cutler is. I feel like Cutler's just trying to make it up without thinking ahead. Favre is thinking 3 steps ahead. As much as I hate to say it. And I'll be honest, if he never plays for the Vikings, I probably would never say this. Because I don't know. But Cutler has never exhibited the same, well, I saw all these options. I went to this because of X. He just seems like an extremely selfish player where it's never his fault. Brett, on the other hand, it's never his fault because it's almost like he's psychic. That seems so preposterous.
Yes.
But it's literally, it's a video game to him. He sees all the lines everywhere, and he picks what one looks the best at the time. But no one else sees the lines. So they don't know what he's thinking. which is probably why he didn't win 100 Super Bowls. But you can't. Those type of people are extremely rare. They just don't exist. That's why I value Brett Favre, and why if the Packers are playing the Bears, I root for the Packers. If they're playing anyone else, I don't care. But I have a friend named Lars who lives in Iowa. He's a Packer fan. I tell him at the start of every football season, I will root for you twice a year, every time you play the Bears. Every other time, I hope you lose drastically.
What about when they play the Saints?
Well, that's a tough one. Literally, I hope they tie, because then it's like they're both kissing their sister, and that's a terrible idea. Does that make any sense?
It kind of does, but I don't know. I don't like quarterbacks pointing at guys after throwing an interception, no matter how psychic they think they are.
Then you love Teddy Bridgewater, because he will never throw anyone under the bus.
No, he does not.
You also love Christian Ponder.
He blames himself when Khalil doesn't touch a guy.
He does.
I mean, some sacks are definitely quarterback-orientated, and some of Bridgewater's sacks have been him holding the ball or him rolling the wrong way. But, I mean, there have been some that are clearly not his fault, and, oh, yeah, that's all me.
See, it's weird, because I blame most of Khalil's struggles on Charlie Johnson. But I read an article that was extremely interesting over the bye week, and that was that actually the majority of Teddy's sacks become because he's holding the ball. But I attribute that more to he's a rookie, and he just hasn't completely experienced the speed of the NFL. So he's looking for windows that don't exist. He's more than willing to take chances, but he's still in the windows were large in college. I could have played defensive back in college. I am not fast. I don't have good coverage skills. I make a much better safety because I don't have to think very much. And so,
are you calling Harrison Smith stupid? I think that's what you just said.
F no. To me, Harrison Smith is the greatest safety in the NFL. I don't care about Earl Thomas. I don't care about Eric Berry. I don't care about Cam Chancellor. I can't believe I named two people on Seattle. Ooh, that was a terrible overthrow.
Maybe that guy.
But the things that Harrison Smith does, I wanted him desperately on the team. And when we drafted Matt Khalil, funny, I don't know if he actually listens to this podcast, Mr. Edwards. He wanted to, but he can only download it because he wants to listen to it on the road as he's driving. He's a delivery guy. He told me, he asked me the year we drafted Khalil and Harrison Smith, what are we going to do? And I said, they really like Khalil, but I don't think he can be picked in the first 5. I think the Vikings can actually trade down and get significant value at the end of the first or the second, that they can still draft Khalil and then come back in. And even if Khalil's gone, I was a big fan of Riley Reef from Iowa, who actually plays left tackle for the Detroit Lions. And he's actually doing better than Khalil, which is sad to say. But I said, no matter what, because I actually hypothesized they'd trade back to 10 or so, would lose out on Khalil, instead would draft Malcolm Floyd, because we still needed wide receivers, and would trade up to get Harrison Smith. Doesn't matter how the first part of it was, I was right that we wanted Harrison Smith, like, for certain. And honestly, if we were smarter, Leslie's a super nice guy. I've actually talked to him in person. I met him at Panera Bread one time. God damn it. If he was just smarter. He coached Russell Wilson in the Senior Bowl. I don't think Russell Wilson is a fabulous quarterback. I'd rather have Teddy Bridgewater. But if we had just drafted Russell Wilson instead, then magically we might be better. But in the long term, it makes me feel sad because then we wouldn't have Teddy, and I like Teddy.
Teddy,
weird, Mr. Bunn. You look completely different. Wait a second. So the viewers don't know. The listeners.
Continue.
We don't have a webcam. I asked Mr. Bunn earlier if you had 2 mugs because what am I drinking? Who's our sponsor?
DiSerrano.
DiSerrano. I asked if you had a mug. He said we only had one. You seem to have one that didn't look like the one.
Oh, there are several mugs. I'm having the
effing
Di Serrano
bum.
with coffee right now.
Ooh.
It's delicious.
See, amaretto goes with coffee.
I figured it would.
Oh, my God. If I drank coffee, I would be jealous of you.
Tastes so good.
This is our intern, Jeff. Who,
Hi, guys.
This is about his second podcast with us.
I tried to. I just couldn't be that negative, Nick.
Oh, snap. We are, hold on, I'm getting a text. It's irrelevant to the
Holding.
conversation.
Oh.
We're also watching the New York Giants in Seattle. We watched San Francisco and the Saints play. Luckily, San Francisco won.
I fixed my Nintendo arcade game just now.
You fixed it?
I did. I fixed it.
How did you fix it?
I changed the batteries on it, and also a processor chip was loose, which I think was the real problem.
See, we are on a bye week, so it really has no matter what we talk
Oh.
about.
So after the podcast, we get to play our championship game.
You mean where I win?
That's to be determined.
Here's what I really want to know. So we played once, and you kicked the snot out of me. You won like 7 or 9-3. It was pitiful.
I loved that game.
Of course you did.
I enjoyed it.
But the second game,
Uh-huh.
you are a big fan of Team P.
Oh, I very much so.
You think Team P is the greatest
They
team ever
have
existed.
wonderful colors. Their name is funny.
What are their colors? Are they red and white?
No, it's a nice blue hue. Actually, it might be red. I forget.
No, this is old school arcade style.
1984 Nintendo.
Yeah, so
Before
There
the
are-
Nintendo Entertainment System.
there are literally no options for you to do.
I mean, there's some options.
Barely. But
Barely is fair.
so the second time, the rematch. What happened? Tell us what happened as soon as you started the game. What happened to you?
Well, Sticky over here claimed Team P and completely threw off my game, my
Wait.
mojo, my sense of who I am.
Wait a second. I claim Team P? What
Yeah.
really happened?
What do you mean what really happened?
I think what happened is the game automatically set my cursor to Team P. So when you went
and
to
then
choose
you didn't
them,
move off of it.
yeah, of course I didn't. Because if I'm going to take the advantage to win this game, I'm going to take the advantage.
I love Team P so much.
You do. We've talked about this. That no matter what happens in the third game, you're going to lose. Because if you choose Team P and I beat you, Team P loses.
Yeah.
If I'm TP and beat you, then you lose without Team P.
But if I'm TP and I beat you, I win.
That's not going to happen.
But it could. You have to
I
at
mean,
least admit it's a possibility.
It's a possibility, but I feel like the odds are stacked against you.
See, I still feel like they're in my favor. I just played a game. Granted, I lost.
Were you Team
But
P?
Yes, I was.
Oh, see, you've tarnished
It
the
was-
record.
5-6. You know, I tried my best, but Team R in the end, they whooped me.
I'm not gonna lie. I have not figured out how to hit the slow pitches.
It's kind of hard. It's tricky. Batting in general is just kind of a mystery, really.
I also have not figured out how to field.
How to feel?
Yeah.
Feel however you want.
First off, you told me that they field for you.
field. I thought you meant like feel emotionally.
No, I feel. I know how I feel. Okay.
How do you feel?
Well, I slightly have to pee.
Oh.
But all over, I have a general sense of buzz.
Yeah. This is delicious.
Is it not?
Colin was wrong.
Colin Mangold, you were wrong. I don't care if you drank a whole tub of sweet and sour sauce during the Ohio State-Miami championship
Oh, did
game.
he do that?
He did.
Oh, clearly this man has no palate.
It was a bet. I took a Mike's Hard Lemonade and I sprayed it all along the wall.
Oh,
Yeah, Di Serrano is beautiful. It's smooth.
I'm enjoying it.
Even if you drink it straight. I mean,
I tried a little bit of it straight.
yeah?
It tasted good.
See?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to sip it. You can't just, drink it like Pepsi.
Bun loves Pepsi.
Bun does. I bought him a Diet Coke once.
What did he say?
Oh, my.
Did he slap you right in the face?
I thought I was going to die.
Oh, man.
I really thought I was going to die.
Oh, boy.
Again, this is intern Jeff with Sticky. We're having a good old time. This is your second podcast, actually, with us.
This is the first time you guys have allowed me to hold a mic. This is exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even though...
It smells like Nick's mouth.
My favorite part, though, is you've actually been in the building when we've done podcasts, but for some reason you refuse to come out of your room. Is there a particular reason? Does someone get naked? Does that bother you?
That was it for a few weeks. I had just cooked a delicious meal, and I was getting ready to sit down with these two and enjoy said meal. And I walk up, and Sticky is waving his dick in front of Bun's face, and Bun is just sitting there smiling.
Okay, so
Wait a minute.
Based-
I had
Hold
a
on.
blanket over my head.
That makes it worse.
We cannot hear Bun, so whatever he just said is irrelevant. Based on our current conversation, there are two things we need to know. One,
Yes.
if Sticky was waving his penis in the air,
Yeah.
was it abnormally large? And two, if Bun was smiling happily, was he impressed or was he envious?
He seemed just delighted. I'm not sure why he was delighted, but just delighted is how he seemed.
Was there drool coming from his mouth?
I didn't look that close. I got out of there pretty fast. I will say,
As most people would.
I retold this story to a different friend, and they were also very confused about this. And the question that they asked me was the dick hard or flaccid? And I responded, I hate that I can actually answer that question.
Wait a second. Was this a male or female you were telling this to?
It was a male.
I can't believe a male was asking if that was
He
the
wanted
case.
to know if you were erect or not. I feel like it's a valid question to ask.
You know, I would agree with that. As weird as it sounds, I
It
would
was-
agree. It's a
it was-
valid question.
It was flaccid.
It was. I mean, listen, I have high standards.
Sticky was not aroused. Now the Bun, he had that blanket on himself
He
for
did.
some reason.
He did. He had his shorts
I
on.
had the blanket on, so I
He
couldn't
he
see.
may have
Yeah,
had
sure.
he may have had tidy whities, which constrict how much you can see.
I don't whities.
Where
I'm convinced you don't wear underwear. Sometimes we go out in public and you wear those thin fabric shorts, and you're showing off a lot.
see,
I'm talking about ass crack.
But I feel like if Bun were to wear boxers, see, I'm a big fan of boxers without the button. The problem with I don't like the button because I don't like foreign objects down there.
I'm a boxer brief guy.
Okay, but if you wear boxers without the button and not the brief style,
Yeah.
then it can just come through that hole at any point.
Yeah.
I feel like if Bun were to wear that, the entire world would know every
Oh,
time
man.
he's aroused.
Yes.
And I feel
agree.
like he's aroused more often than not.
I would say 80% of the time. I would say you get the Bun into an argument and he is instantly aroused, and he is 80% of the time in an argument.
I am really happy you've replaced the Bun. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Wait until we start talking about football. I know everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite team? I swear to God, if you say Team P, I will just take another drink.
who would team Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that's like Team P, right?
You sure? You like the Steelers, who lost to the Jets?
I mean, I
today.
guess my real favorite team would be the Vikings. You're not gonna like this, but like growing up down in southeast Nebraska,
Tallahassee?
the Chiefs got rooted for.
See, okay, here's the problem. The Vikings don't get a lot of coverage outside of Minnesota. I grew up in
What
Iowa.
about the Dakotas?
Maybe. There's nothing in Dakotas. Do they even have TVs? I don't
don't know.
actually know. But I grew up in Iowa, and we often would have either the Chiefs or the Vikings,
Go on.
depending on who was good.
Continue.
So more often the Chiefs. I often ask my dad, who still lives in Ames, Iowa,
Oh.
who's on TV, because I feel bad that Donovan McNabb, a terrible individual,
Is he still in the NFL?
and he is not, but he's been a color analyst, which is even worse.
Boy, they call him that? That seems
Right?
really racist.
You know what? That's actually true.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish he would just disappear from the earth.
Oh, that also seems
Um,
racist.
Well, not just black people in general.
Oh, just that one
There
specific
are
one?
plenty of black people I like. You know,
Yeah.
like my friend Elijah.
Oh, I like Elijah.
I guess he's more milky.
I
so-
feel like I've met him once at the Great Mandarin years ago.
Oh, it's very possible. In fact, it's weird that this has nothing to do with football, but the biggest thing I remember from you is a giganto beard, lots of hair, and you were giving a food critic on Kabuki.
It was delicious.
That Korean dish was
It
amazing.
was good. You know, this is the first time I've trimmed my beard according to my jawline. What do you think?
You know, I think if I were a woman,
Yeah, go on.
if I can be frank,
Okay.
I would probably
I'm gonna be
ask you to
Jeff.
marry me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Do you want to role play that?
I mean, if you want to,
Can you? Sound
I have
like,
a theater degree,
Can you?
so
Can you sound like a female?
yes.
Ooh,
Is that good enough?
Lucina.
I mean, I have worn a bra. Does that
Have
count?
you? I've considered a bra.
I've also worn women's pants.
Yeah?
I don't know what that means.
Are they just like tight around the thighs? That's what I feel like the difference is.
Well, they were tight in many places. I was not familiar with tightness.
Like the ankle,
No, actually, I don't know if I have small ankles.
the crotch.
The crotch for sure. Those pants definitely were not in favor of balls.
Yeah.
I have loose balls. I have ones that hang low to and fro, and
Like abnormally loose.
I don't look at a whole lot of balls, so I don't know. But they definitely they like just hanging around. They like being alive.
For a while there, it really felt like society was trying to get us all to wear skinny jeans.
Oh my god!
I'm glad that's over
Me too.
because I don't think I could do it.
You can't. Listen. I have tried skinny jeans. I immediately took them off and burned them.
Yeah.
I hadn't bought them yet, so that was a little awkward burning things in the middle of Target. But I did it anyway.
My thighs naturally create a lot of friction, and I feel like I would start a fire if I actually wore skinny jeans.
I feel like it's weird that I have burned things in the middle of Target, but
Really?
I haven't actually.
What did you burn in the middle of Target?
Jeans, the skinny jeans. But the weird part is, I am in favor of buying Wranglers, which are kind of like skinny jeans.
But you can get like Relax Fit.
Right. Who'd have thought that would have happened?
I feel like that's been going on for a long time.
Has it?
Relax Fit, yeah.
See, I was a big Morona guy.
I
I don't know what happened to Morona.
I'm not
jeans.
familiar with Morona. I'm familiar with Massimo. Is that what you're trying
Oh,
to say?
they're basically the same.
Okay.
Both are basically Target brand.
Oh, okay.
But Morona was the it was like the Kirkland of the Costco's.
Oh.
Right? It was the specific Target entity.
I like that Kirkland both create sweatshirts and a variety of nuts.
They also have water, so you can
Everything.
grow nuts into
Oh, man.
whatever you want.
What do nuts grow on?
That's a good question.
Is it like a vine?
You know, do they grow on a vine or do they grow under the earth? Are they like potatoes?
Oh, you know what? I think they're like
Technically, they're a vegetable,
they're
but
like
they're colored
acorns
in
and
dirt.
walnuts and shit like that.
That's-
So it's not like a vine.
I feel like that's
I
bullshit.
bet some nuts grow on a vine, like a peanut vine. That's a thing, right?
Probably.
So during the off season, are you guys going to keep going with this podcast?
Absolutely.
Oh, I think we should all bring a topic that we want to discuss.
I am-
Speaking of topics,
No, listen here, Bun. You're not. You don't have a microphone. You're not in
Yeah.
this podcast anymore.
This is an A-B conversation, so you should see your way out of it.
Boom.
the roommate and I originally had a plan. Actually, it was
Wait, who's your roommate?
the intern,
Intern Jeff.
intern Jeff.
Is this the PowerPoint
Okay,
thing?
continue.
This is the PowerPoint thing.
Oh my God, I am so in favor of your PowerPoint.
I don't have PowerPoint.
For everyone out here, they do. What?
I have a copied, pirated version of Microsoft Windows Vista,
I don't
And-
even know how to respond to this.
and at this point, it won't even play sound because I can't update it. And Microsoft is somewhat smart when they do these service packets,
Ooh.
where they leave things out where eventually you just have to get said service packet. And
Sure.
I say, hey, nah.
What if you just? Okay, so if you're in favor of pirating, why don't you just pirate the newest version?
Well, see, I don't pirate anything. Like, this was pirated for me a long time ago, and I've just failed to.
Well, I guess if it's Vista, it would have been
yeah,
years.
there's ways around it. I've actually found some web-based PowerPoint things that would work fine. I just need to actually learn them because I knew somewhat what I was doing on PowerPoint, but I don't know what's going on.
I
at
would
all.
actually favor switching to Ubuntu.
I use Ubuntu, and I have
Really?
sound on Ubuntu.
Ubuntu is great.
It is great. I mean, the only problem that I actually have with Ubuntu is sometimes it's hard to get all the software running that you want.
It is. You have to wait a little bit until people figure out how to actually install it.
Yeah,
But I have
Ubuntu's great. It
I
really
have
is. Great.
12.04 as a long-term solution. I don't install the newest updates until they make a new long-term one.
Yeah.
My my senior developer for my business tells me to use Ubuntu, and it's fantastic.
It is.
I keep switching to Windows and then being sad, and I go back to Ubuntu.
Ubuntu's a lot cleaner, and I think it's more
absolutely.
user friendly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very nice.
I really like that. This has nothing to do with our podcast or football in
I
general.
wouldn't know how to talk about football.
Hold on. I actually have to, as they say, urinate in Europe.
Okay,
I'm going to hand the microphone to Bun.
Bun, get in here.
Hey, now it's you and me.
So, do you want to defend your erection during the whole penis gate thing?
Not have an erection. I had a blanket over my face,
Boy.
so I would not have to look at
There
my
was
penis.
there was no blanket over your face. There was a widespread grin on your face, but no blanket.
Huge.
Huge.
I think
You looked like the Joker in The Dark Knight.
Oh, none of this is true, but that doesn't matter. No, I did not enjoy him being naked.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was very surprised and confused by it. I should have known that it was Glanzer's fault, or at least his suggestion. That's not fair. I shouldn't say it's his fault.
No, the whole
because
thing
Luke
reeked
made
of
the
Glanzer.
decision.
The whole thing reeked of Glanzer.
Yes, it did. But anyhow, do you want to talk about the type of roommate I am?
Sure.
I want to hear your thoughts on me as a roommate.
I mean, you're a good roommate. I enjoy living with you. There are some things that annoy me. You know, just like how you'll leave trash around forever. And today I found out that you hope that I clean up after you, which annoys me to no end. And I feel like
That's a fair thought.
sometimes you can tell that I'm annoyed.
I try to be better when I can tell you're annoyed,
Yeah.
but
I should probably not be so passive aggressive, but it's the only thing I'm good at.
no, I need to be nicer now that I actually own a place
Yeah.
because it's not like I'm renting it anymore. And I agree, I should be better about it. I do intend to do the dishes that I made messy yesterday.
You should tell everybody how you brown ground meat when you're cooking.
I started off by putting it in the Foreman grill, and I'm surprised this is unusual, to be honest.
I feel like you're the only person in America that does that, and if you wrote in to the George Foreman Corporation, you're like, hey, I found a new way to brown ground meat, they would reply and be like, don't do that. That's probably not safe.
Why do you think it's a bad way of doing it?
I don't see how it saves you any time.
I feel like it cooks faster on the Foreman grill.
I mean, it might cook faster.
And I was really hungry yesterday because
You were hungry.
I had to make 2 extra trips after the original trip to Target because I kept forgetting stuff.
You were a hungry boy.
I was very hungry.
Well, do you guys want to get back to talking about football now that Sticky's back? Oh, wait, he's walking away again.
Yep.
We got to fill some more time.
Yes, we do. So, but you have been looking at PowerPoint solutions.
Yeah, and I found a pretty good one online that I'll probably
How
end up
are you
using.
going to, like, you don't have a laptop, do you?
No, but you can save everything that you do online, too, so then I could just log into my account through your
Okay, I
laptop.
see how. Well, then you don't.
No,
Oh, yeah, I suppose you
Google
still need
Drive,
PowerPoint
no.
to create it.
I just don't know what it is.
Okay.
So that'll work. I'll write my my PowerPoint presentation about Ireland.
I'm looking forward to this.
How long is yours about marsupials?
5 slides.
Ooh, 5 slides. All right.
Yeah. I found out some interesting things.
Yeah?
Things I didn't expect, but we're going to leave those until we actually do the PowerPoint.
Like their pouches are slimy?
I did not learn that.
Ugh. Ugh.
Are they slimy? I didn't read that anywhere.
I've heard that they're slimy. That their pouches are slimy.
Huh. It does.
Well, you know, it's been great, guys. I'm gonna sit here and listen to you guys talk about football for a while now.
Well, we really appreciate the intern being a part of our podcast.
yeah,
That almost never happens. Literally, this
That
is
was-
the second time ever.
a lot of fun.
Not since Penisgate, which he wasn't actually on for. He was just in the vicinity to see the amazing penis, which we call mine.
I think you're... Yeah, I'm just going to leave that alone.
Well, you didn't leave it alone then. What? Badoom.
Batted around like a cat with a toy.
Ooh. No one probably heard that, so I need to repeat it. Intern Jeff just said you batted it around like a cat toy.
I don't believe I recall that happening.
I'm really happy that intern
I feel
Jeff
like that
is-
would actually just not feel good. Like you would be unpleased if I was to bat it around like a cat.
Well, it depends. I mean, what kind of cat are you? Do you have your claws still?
God, I hope so.
Then I would not be happy. I mean, well, there's some...
Is this something you do with your cats?
I mean... less now that I have a dog, because now you just use peanut butter and everything's good.
And that's easier. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the dog is generally nicer, just licks nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
If you know what I mean. What? That doesn't actually happen. Nope, I am positive that doesn't actually happen.
Your wife goes away for long periods of time, and that would be very lonely.
Which is why I hang out with you a lot.
Nah, that's not making things sound better for me. That's making things sound much, much worse.
Maybe. I do. Let's be honest. How do you actually respond to that? I don't know that there's a right answer.
So, at one point we were talking about football. Where were we with football?
It's the bye week. We won. I'm happy. Should have been a larger win, but
I was
don't
about
know.
to say, we got very lucky that game, I feel.
No, the stronger team always prevails. There's a bald eagle. I think he landed on someone's head.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like that person wanted that.
It clearly does not look like he wanted that.
That looks terrible.
Claw his face! Claw his
Boy,
face!
that bird just, landed on his head. I don't know why the bird thought that was a great place to land, but that guy clearly did not enjoy it.
Okay, speaking of landing, I can't remember if it was the first game or what game. Do you remember when we went to the Vikings game and they had a... wow, that's a long run by Russell Wilson. Do you remember when they had the skydivers land in the middle of the field?
Yep.
That was awesome. They could have timed it better. I only know that because I'm in theater, so I know timing a little better than the average Joe. But that was awesome. I loved that. Why don't we do that every game? I would jump out of a plane. As long as they let me stay on the field.
I'd push you out of a plane.
You would, and the...
Actually, I'd have to go on a plane for that, and I don't enjoy going on planes.
The unfortunateness is you would make sure I don't have a parachute, and you'd push me out.
That would be amusing.
I really disliked the bicycle crew. Where they
That
did
was
the
not
jump.
enjoyable.
It was
And they weren't that
stupid.
good.
They were not. They kept trying to pump them up, but they were dumb.
Yeah. It didn't... I do think, though, that was a game we were losing at that point.
We were.
And I don't feel like many halftime shows are going to be very impressive or enjoyable because the fans aren't going to be into it. And for any performance thing, the fans have to be into it for it to not feel like it sucked.
I feel like it depends how you're losing. Are you losing a 7-10 game, or are you losing like 35-30?
Well, sure. I mean, obviously there's that, but I think any time where the fans are pretty disgruntled. But the bicycle thing was still terrible. And the guys coming at or landing on the field, wasn't that before the game? That
It
wasn't
was.
halftime.
It was during the Star Spangled Banner, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And the last guy had his parachute was the American flag. I feel like that's against the law. I don't.
They ran, I noticed because I was paying attention to that, they ran very quickly to pick that up so it wasn't just laying on the ground. Like, I don't even think he landed and it was all on the ground before they ran to pick it up.
Isn't that a thing? Like, you can't let the American flag touch
I
the
think
ground?
so.
I feel weird. Should I have the American flag, like, outside of my place of residence?
To say that you can't do it, I mean, I think it's not proper performance. But, I mean, First Amendment thing, you can do what the shit you want with the American flag.
True statement. Oh, my God. The Broncos are only leading the Raiders 13-10.
They were losing.
I promise
a
you
little
this.
bit ago.
I promise you this.
Okay.
I will make out with you if the Raiders win.
No, you won't. I promise you this will not happen.
Intern Jeff will let me in the house while you're asleep. You better lock your door, because it's going to happen. We will videotape it and put it on our Facebook page.
15 minutes before he showed up today, Bun was like, "Oh, man, I hope he kisses me."
For those of you who did not hear, Bun was
The
really
intern is
excited.
lying.
Was really excited that Sticky might end up kissing the Bun, which is common basically every podcast.
This is not what I want. Actually, what I felt was, holy shit, Sticky is 27 hours late.
I remember you walked in the door furious that you had been walking on the treadmill, and it had been so long since I had arrived. You were pissed that you had walked so far.
I wasn't pissed. I was just tired and was ready to be done because I bought a treadmill, and so I was just walking on it, waiting for Sticky to come, and he was very late in coming.
Meanwhile, I had actually done a real workout with weights and stuff beforehand.
Those were noises.
Okay, so since we're only... I keep pulling the earbud out of my ear. Since we're only doing one podcast instead of two, should we talk about the next game? Who do we even play?
We play the Bears.
Oh, I fucking hate the Bears.
You really do.
Go Packers!
Jared Allen is going to be very...
Has Jared... Hold on. Honest question.
Yeah?
Has Jared Allen won at Soldier Field?
No. See, I still like Jared Allen. We completely burned all the rubber off his tires.
Absolutely.
I mean...
He's got a bald tire.
Yeah, there's nothing left there, and it's too bad because
For sure.
I really enjoyed watching him. I think he enjoyed his time here. He is going to be super motivated, and that's not a good thing given our problems between
I feel like it
left
doesn't
tackle
matter.
and left guard. I think given our problems between left tackle and left guard, it's going to matter.
I agree that he's going to be extra motivated, but he has been so nondescript this year that I feel like it doesn't matter. He has what like a 1.5 sacks?
I think that's correct. I think he more than doubles that.
We didn't even burn the rubber off. We just completely engulfed the tire in flames. We did such a good job of trading for him. He was brilliant as a Viking.
Yes, he was.
And we
Still one of my
wore-
favorite Vikings of all time.
Absolutely. Big fan of Jared Allen. But we wore the shit out of him.
And the thing was, that really seemed to be, it was his decision to do that.
Absolutely. We tried to rotate.
He was
against
like,
it.
no, we're not going to rotate.
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
going to play forever. If I tear something, I'm just going to play the rest of the game. And because I don't care if that means I'm out for the rest of the year, I want revenge. That was the Lions game. Remember that?
Oddly enough, Ben Lieber was on a show this week, and he said that even during the championship run, the 2009 championship run, that the defense almost every single game would go to him and say, dude, you need to stop doing this. You are hurting the defense as a whole by being so selfish. But as fans, we don't see it as selfish. We see it
We
as,
see a guy who wants to play, and there is that.
It's so weird. But yeah, I hope he gets 0 sacks against Teddy, and I would laugh so hard. I am 50%. There's a part of me that really wants to go to Chicago for this game.
Chicago sucks.
Primarily,
It sucks as a city.
It
sucks.
does. It's very dirty,
Yeah.
but
They have those signs everywhere. Like, you're driving in, and it's like 700 people have died in car accidents. It's like, what the shit, Chicago? Figure out how to drive.
I will admit that not only do I feel like I would kill someone in Chicago, but I feel like I would also contract an STD, regardless of if I had sex with anyone. I feel like just being there, I have Ebola. Can I blame Ebola in Chicago? Is that possible?
Well, that's where Obama came from. After his, being born in Kenya or whatever.
I'm not going to lie. That is the hardest I've ever laughed. I love the articles that blame Obama for Ebola.
Yeah.
As much as I love the articles that blame Mark Dayton for Ebola.
I
Ebola.
didn't blame him so much, but those were hilarious commercials, unintentionally. Like, we can't trust Dayton if Ebola comes here.
Oh, totally.
And it was just like, holy shit, I'm not going to overreact, but I can't trust Dayton with the safety of my family. It's like, what the fuck?
That was my second favorite, too. There was one campaign that said it listed all the highlights from Mark Dayton, and then it was, can you trust this will happen again? Probably not. And it wasn't sponsored by any party.
Oh, no.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I love politics. I am a huge fan of the shadow corporations that do not want me to vote. So
do you want to tell everyone who you voted for?
No. Well, Captain Jack Sparrow.
Well, that's the one I was talking about. You
Obviously.
voted for Captain Jack Sparrow.
Please. If Captain Jack Sparrow is running on your ballot in your state, you vote for him. It doesn't matter what he stands for. Because you know he's in favor of sex, women, and stealing. Those are huge priorities in America.
It really sounds like he's a big hippie, is what it sounded like when I read about him.
It doesn't... See, here's the problem I have with Jack Sparrow. I forever see him as Johnny Depp. And I'm a big fan of Johnny Depp. So it doesn't matter what he actually stands for. Johnny Depp, I'm a huge fan of. I have seen some of the women he's taken captive. And
he's plundered? The booty he has plundered?
If I could plunder that booty, I am 100% on board. I love my wife. I have to say that. I feel like that's a...
I really want to get your wife to listen to these podcasts sometime.
Oh, that'll never happen.
Oh, it would...
Because she thinks
would fill me with so much happiness.
She thinks it's all about the Vikings, so she thinks that it's, hell on earth. So she refused.
I have to invite her to like the page so she can read the descriptions of the actual podcast.
Now, see, she's a huge fan of Facebook, so she might like the page regardless. She would never actually listen.
Yeah, I know, but she'd at least get to read the description, like how this one is going to talk about, we discuss bestiality and wearing women's clothes.
I will tell you that every time you post, I never tell you what to post as the synopsis for the episode, because I think your synopses are brilliant.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And every time I just wait for it to come up, and then I share it with her on Facebook. I don't share it with her, but I read it aloud to her, and she just shakes her head like, "What the fuck is wrong with you two?"
That sounds about right.
I have to admit, Mr. Bunn, as much as I hate the bye week because I'm bored as hell, that I love Sticky and the Bun podcast during bye weeks. This is the most fun podcast
This has
ever.
been a fun podcast. Okay, so we were talking about the Bears before we got on many other subjects.
I blame you,
Jared
Tim.
Allen.
Yes, Jared Allen.
I still like him, even if he was a selfish guy.
I would bring back Ben Lieber. Number 50?
A player?
51. Oh, for sure. I loved his karate kicks. Him and Chad Greenway would try and who would kick the highest in the air.
What position would he play? Middle linebacker now?
Oh, no. He was... Well, in Zimmer's scheme, he would probably be a strong side linebacker. In the old scheme, he was a weak side. Because he was in Aaron Henderson's.
We need a spot for him, I'm saying, if you bring him back.
Fuck, I don't care if he's played special teams. I love Ben Lieber. He is gorgeous.
So does Chad Greenway.
Who doesn't? He is gorgeous. He has a bald head like nobody's business. And he's beautiful. I would have sex with him.
Big ball, beautiful bull head.
I feel that...
What do you look like bald?
I shave my head all the time.
I love your hair. It looks like a cheese pet.
It does kind of do that.
It does. It's like very straight all over. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I haven't paid much attention to the Bears' defense, so I don't actually know how good they are.
Horrendous. I'm talking like
Are they
Vikings of
horrendous?
2013.
Or Cutler's been throwing a lot of interceptions this year, so
Yes.
that makes the defense look pretty terrible.
Yes.
I do worry about their offense because their offense has a lot of weapons.
It does.
They
Oh,
haven't
for
been
sure.
playing great of the last couple weeks. We'll see how they'll look tonight against the Packers. But There are a lot of weapons on their team that scare me.
Let me put it this way. If they had... see, I don't even want to say the Vikings defense because that's actually a very good defense. Oddly enough, I don't think anyone is ever accustomed to that. If they had a middle-of-the-road defense, they would be Super Bowl contenders. So even if Cutler is taking ridiculous chances and throwing interceptions, they obviously have weapons. Alshon Jeffrey, Brandon Marshall, who I tried to trade for in fantasy football because he's been bad, but I know he's going to be good. Jay Cutler, Matt Forte, Martellus Bennett, who actually might not play, but it doesn't matter. Their offense is so potent. So potent.
Yeah.
On defense, Lance Briggs basically is last year in the league. Well, not in the league, but on the Bears. Kyle Fuller, huge fan. I kind of wanted to draft Kyle Fuller, not at the position we were at in the first round.
Yeah, I did hear that he was having a really solid year.
Oh, but here's the problem. He started to hit that rookie wall, started to have some injury. He got a little bit behind. The rest of the defense isn't that good.
I thought they had a couple other defensive linemen, but I could be...
Well, they lost Henry Milton.
Yep.
He went to Dallas. We almost signed him after he bit someone. That's a weird story. I don't even... How do you bite someone? My niece bit someone. She is 2. Okay, she bit a girl in the face. That I applauded her, and she will get extra Christmas presents for doing so.
Why are you applauding your niece biting someone in the face?
Because the best part is she has a soul. So when she did it, she immediately ran into the corner, cried on her own, and said, "I'm sorry." So no one scolded her, no one punished her, but she knew she did something bad, ran into the corner herself, put herself in the corner, and cried and said, "I'm sorry." She is an adorable little kid.
Okay.
They basically have no one on defense. They let go of Peppers, who went to the Green Bay Packers. Who did that? Shea McClellan? Come on.
No, that was a bust. That was...
He should have been better.
Entire draft, or the Packers-Bears draft that year, I felt they should have switched first-round picks, and I still feel like I was right.
I agree.
Because now Nick Perry, that's the guy the Packers drafted, right? I'm getting his name correct? Perry?
Well, they drafted him. I don't remember where they drafted him, but
in the first round.
Okay. Sure.
And the Bears got McClellan instead, and it's like Perry has done... He's had a couple moments as a linebacker, but he should have been a stick the hand in the ground type of guy.
See, I was a fan of McClellan coming out of TCU, but I know too much of randomness.
You do.
But I feel like either he's not come to fruition or they're using him wrong.
I feel like they're using him. I mean,
maybe.
I think better this year since they put him to linebacker this year, right?
Yes,
like,
outside linebacker.
Yep, and so now he's behind because he hasn't played that, but that's where he should have been playing.
His bet, because I'll be honest, in previous years I was afraid of him facing the Vikings, but his best come-to-Jesus moment where he showed he was an NFL player was I was ahead by 75 points going into a week where the Bears faced the Packers on Monday Night Football. I was deathly afraid because the person I was playing had Jordy Nelson, Eddie Lacy, and Aaron Rodgers. I thought for sure I'd lose, and then Shea McClellan pulls out the beautifulness of knocking Aaron Rodgers out and breaking his collarbone. And I thanked Jesus for that every week. And Jeff, you don't listen to this podcast, but if for some reason you do, you know who you are. You drafted the entire Packers offense, and thank you for letting me have that win, Shea McClellan. I would take him on our team. You know, actually, oddly enough, when we're speaking of linebackers and slight randomness, I think Everson Griffin has been a superb player.
Yep.
He got NFC Defensive Player of the Month. He's been out of his mind. I still want to see kind of what he'd be like at linebacker.
I wouldn't mind seeing him drop back a little bit more often, but
I feel like the coaching staff, Mike Zimmer and his staff, are so much better at actually getting things to work out better and adjustments. If they were to put him at linebacker, he could be like insane. I mean, he's already insane as a defensive end. But I watched a workout that he did once. I didn't even know what to think. That was retarded. That's a terrible word. I once got yelled at for using that word.
I was about to say that's not the word.
But he was ridiculous at the things he can do. I never thought of Everson Griffin as a leader on the defense. He is a very vocal leader.
He's mentioned that now that he's starting, he wants to be that guy. After they gave him all that money and all that stuff, and when he really hadn't proved anything.
Correct. He hadn't. In fact, his last year, he basically was used part-time.
Oh, barely part-time.
He was like a
because
low-round
Jared
pick.
Allen wouldn't come off the field.
That's true.
I mean, they did use him some as defensive tackle on obvious passing downs, but even then,
Oh my God. I still remember the times when Everson and Brian Robinson were defensive tackles. It doesn't matter who your defensive ends were. You're getting slaughtered up the middle because they're too quick. Big fan of Brian Robinson. I love his hair. But he has moves that his speed can beat a center, a guard up the middle. And Everson Griffin obviously has talent above and beyond all of them. When they switch him to the middle, that's like, if I were an offense, I'd be freaked the F out. Especially with Mike Zimmer as your coordinator. Oh, well, actually head coach, but still calling the plays on defense. When they put like Anthony Barr, who is insane. No one, including Anthony Barr, could see this productivity coming. When they put him at defensive end and put Everson and Brian in the middle, I don't even know what to do. I would literally, if I was a quarterback of the opposing team, I would spike the ball. I would call it quits. I'd say, F this, I'm out.
Okay.
I would even pay back the organization money for making me go against that front. Let's talk about the defense.
Okay.
Do you remember a time when this defense was as dominant as they are? They give up some stuff.
I was about to say, I feel like there was one weird year where I remember they had a ton of interceptions. I want to say it was like 2003 or something like that. But it was just, I want to say Brian Williams and a bunch of other safeties.
He had like 9 interceptions. Brian Williams and, what was the other guy's name? He was Russell Williams?
No.
It was, Brian Williams was the guy who went to the Falcons. It was Russell something. We had like, it was not Stovers. We had like 9 interceptions between the two people. Or each one. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, we had one year where we were just getting interceptions like crazy.
And Corey Chavis was a part, because they were the cornerbacks.
Wasn't it a Griffin that was the other safety?
I feel like one cornerback and one safety was doing the majority of it. Griffin was the other cornerback. Man, if the cheating Saints don't come out, I actually want to talk about this.
Okay.
If the cheating Saints don't cheat, okay, think of how life would have changed. Because Cedric Griffin was actually coming into his own as a cornerback. Very good. He's kind of like Xavier Rhodes, but probably a little less talented. Had probably a little less speed, but also less handsy like Xavier. Xavier is very handsy. It was also his deficit coming out of college. Griffin was very good coming out. In the 2009 championship game, him and Winfield were just spectacular. But the cheating Saints, they had the Pierre Thomas. What was the flag? It was on Ben Lieber. I can't remember what the flag actually was, but they got a 4th down. They won the game. Well, they tied it going to overtime. If that doesn't happen, if there isn't a high-low on Brett, if there isn't the fake penalty on Ben Lieber, we win that game. Well, in fairness' sake, we also have to blame the offensive unit as a general for 12 men in the huddle. Because without 12 men in the huddle...
AP also had a very terrible game, which no one talks about.
What is it, a fumble within the 5-yard line?
He had a bunch of fumbles. No one ever talks about...
Absolutely.
Lots of people say that, the Vikings have never given him a team. No, they gave him a team, and he fumbled it away.
I agree. But I think we had 5 turnovers that game.
Yeah, we did.
But we were still so in position to win it.
Yeah.
Without the 12 men in the huddle, without the pass across the body, we win the game. Overtime is when shit just started falling apart.
Yep. Injury right away.
Cedric Griffin on the kickoff return tears his ACL. Tries really hard, doesn't come back to the next year against the Jets. Tears his other ACL the same game. Just think of what Cedric Griffin would have been. He was our number 2A cornerback. If he doesn't tear his ACL, he has better physical qualities than Antoine. Antoine's all brain. So if he doesn't tear his ACL, he becomes our number 1 cornerback. Antoine is our number 2, which is still fine. It's basically what we have now, where Captain is our number 2. He's more brain than actual physical abilities, where Xavier Rhodes is our number 1 because he's got the physical abilities. If you put Captain's brain in Xavier, he's probably the best cornerback in the NFL. Josh Robinson is spectacular. I did not believe that he would do as poorly as he did last year, but I also told you ahead of time he is not a slot cornerback.
Yeah, you did say that.
I don't care if he's really fast. He is an outside guy. He's always played outside. Nickel corner is a very different prospect. That's why Captain Munnerlyn's probably average at this point. He needs to learn some things. He has the mentality to be that nickel corner, but he hasn't shown it yet. But oh my God, if we don't go into overtime, Cedric Griffin doesn't tear his ACL, we go to the Super Bowl, even if we lose, Cedric Griffin doesn't tear his ACL, and we haven't for years. Versus what actually happened is he tears his ACL in the championship game. He doesn't come back to the Jets game, which is 10 games into the season, where Randy Moss went crazy and said that he wished he was a New England Patriot, which blew my mind. Started the end of Percy Harvin. So then Cedric Griffin is our number 2. Maybe even if we have the same record, we have Xavier Rhodes. If I could have Xavier Rhodes and Cedric Griffin without ACL injuries, oh my God, we'd be unstoppable. But that didn't happen. Instead, we have Cedric Griffin, who is then signed by the Redskins. He's now out of the league. And now we don't have Percy Harvin. Now we don't have Randy Moss, which I really wasn't in favor of trading for. I get why they traded for him, because you went to the NFC Championship the year before. You obviously are doing poorly, so you have to right the ship. He got his touchdown catch with Brett Favre against the Jets. Outside of that, he did nothing except poison Percy Harvin, which not only hurt us, but we traded for a small fortune. He went to Seattle, and then was traded again for way less. Think of this. Do you ever think that Percy Harvin, having the skill set that he has, do you ever think he's traded for so little to the Jets?
No, I didn't think so.
That's insane. Percy Harvin is uber talented. So I give, I feel like Rick Spielman does a really good job of drafting players, bringing in talent that can be cultivated. And as much as I love Leslie Frazier, I love his demeanor, I love what he did for the team in terms of riding the boat, but
that was a crazy run.
I don't think he was very good at talent making it better. But I feel like that was his I feel like the coordinators he hired, like Alan Williams. Alan Williams was a bad defensive backs coach. What made us think he was going to be any good defensive coordinator? No one. I feel like when he was our defensive coordinator, that Jared Allen would be like, "What the fuck? I could be a better for defensive coordinator as you as a player." I feel like that was Leslie's problem. He ran the cover 2, which is fine, which works good in 2009 when everyone's playing their position properly. It relies too much on perfection. So, really, I hate the Saints because they caused so much problems with having us go into overtime. And we did not have the coaching staff to overcome. And we gave Brad Childress an extension. I get why he got the extension, but stupid nonetheless. You can't just let him go into this final year. He took you every year. He won more games. I wish Tavares Jackson didn't throw the interception to what's his name? What was the cornerback for Philadelphia?
I don't remember.
He was for New England first. What was his name? Asante Samuel. If you didn't throw this, really what doomed us against the Philadelphia Eagles is the pick six by Asante Samuel and the screen for like 77 yards to LaShawn McCoy. Oddly enough, which Chad Greenway did a really good job of not stopping. Our future could be so different. But it's the little things that keep us going, that make us super intrigued and make us continue on. That was a really long dissertation.
It really was.
But you were doing something on the computer, so you were happy I was continually talking.
I was trying to look something up, but I didn't find it, and I don't care anymore. Was it Dick's? It was not Dick's.
He was looking up pictures of dicks.
I was not looking up pictures of Dick's.
Okay, let me state this ahead of time. I do not care about basketball one iota.
Okay.
I am a wrestling guy. I love wrestling. I was very bad at it. I got a scholarship with it. I tried really hard. But it was the same time period as basketball, so I hate basketball more than the Bears.
Okay.
Is that even possible?
You let me know.
How do you feel about Ricky Rubio? Have you seen the video?
I did not watch the video.
Oh my God. He had an ankle sprain, and basically his ankle was laying flat on the ground, like on its side, and his leg was upright.
That doesn't seem like that would be a small injury that would be quickly recovered from.
Right? But it's not a break, and so I feel good about that. But they don't know how severe it is until 2 weeks from now when they get to evaluate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it means they can start what's-his-face instead.
Zach LaVine,
Yeah.
who today, literally today, has as many starts in the professional league as he does in college. I don't understand basketball where you only have to play 1 year.
I don't understand how they evaluate basketball players either. They don't seem very good at it.
Let's talk about next week. We've rambled enough. What do we have?
Well, we tried to talk about the
did.
Bears.
We did.
I
effing hate the Bears.
You hate the Bears. I don't think we're winning this game.
Oh, are you kidding me?
An away game. Their offense scares me. Jared Allen being super motivated. Gonna get, I'm gonna guess that between the two games we play against the Bears, he's gonna have 7 or 8 sacks.
I agree that Jared Allen is motivated because he's weird like that, but I feel like it doesn't matter. We've had a bye week to plan.
That does encourage me because good coaches take advantage of bye weeks,
Yes.
and Zimmer is a good coach.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I can literally say in my lifetime, I have never seen as many adjustments as I have this year.
Yeah. I do enjoy that you use the word literally as much as I do because I overuse that word all the time.
I will make out with you.
I believe you literally will, but I will stop you.
I feel like Zimmer knows where his faults lie, and will overcompensate for it. I think there's a 50-50 chance AP plays, but even if he plays, I'm not sure he's completely up to speed.
We didn't actually talk about that at all. Let's finish talking about the Bears game, and then we'll talk about that whole controversy.
So I think
I don't think we match up well, our offense versus, or their offense versus our defense, even though I like our defense. But Matt Forte scares me. Tall wide receivers with captain trying to guard them scare me. Tall tight ends scare me. They have all sorts of things that scare me. Mobile quarterback, I mean, not that he's a runner, but he is. We talked, he can improvise, he can move around.
I actually normally would agree 100%. When the Bears signed Matt Forte, or I'm sorry, Martellus Bennett, I was like, fuck. Because he's the guy that you want. Pass catching, he's got some girth, so he can push through those defensive backs who are covering him. They already have Alshon Jeffrey, who I did not believe he was a little, but fat coming out of college. He has proved me wrong. I was already pissed when they signed Brandon Marshall from Detroit or Denver.
They actually got him from Miami, didn't they? Marshall went to Miami, and they traded for him.
He went to Miami to Denver, where he played with Cutler.
See, I thought he started with Cutler in Denver, but maybe I'm getting that mixed up.
I'm going to be honest. I've been drinking Disaronno. It's very possible. I could be wrong with my facts, which really doesn't matter what I'm drinking. That's also the case. But when they signed Brandon Marshall, I was like, come on, you're screwing the NFC North. He's got Alshon Jeffrey, he's got Brandon Marshall, he's got Martellus Bennett. Matt Forte, come on. It doesn't matter how I feel about Adrian. Matt Forte is a beast.
Yes, he is.
He runs it well. He catches it well. He never gets hurt.
When AP is on the team, does the NFC North have the best set of running backs in the league? I think they have to.
Absolutely. Forte, AP, even Eddie Lacy, who hasn't done much this year, still tops. Reggie Bush as a screen option. Joink Bell as a short yardage.
He really was pounding guys today.
I'm not a big fan of the Dolphins defense. I think Joink Bell is. I feel like they could get. I feel like Theo Reddick could do better than Reggie Bush. Joink Bell is the bell cow. He can push that through. Yeah. He proved it today. Yeah. I don't think there's better rushers than the NFC North if Adrian Peterson is playing. Without him, I think we're maybe a year or two away. I know you love this. I love Jerick McKinnon. Mm-hmm. I can't believe a year ago he was a quarterback.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that draft pick, and he has really done really well.
We picked him before players like Terrence West, who had 200 and some touchdowns. I don't think we picked him before Carlos Hyde. We picked him before some of the major players. It was definitely out of left field.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, have I been wrong on that.
Yeah. You and me both there.
He is lightning in a bottle. He is like Anthony Barr. In the fact that you tell him what to do and he does it. He doesn't know any different. He's like, okay, coach, I'll go do that. He's like Bobby Boucher. He's like the movie The Replacements. Who's the character that John Favreau? Reeves? No, John Favreau plays.
I don't know.
Yeah, I joked with you at one of the games. I said, the coach says, "Give me the ball," and he goes, "I'll get you the ball." He says, "Give me the, I'll get you the ball," and he says, "I'll get you the ball." And
I don't recall this.
He gets the ball. He's a linebacker. He's a former SWAT team member. He's not really good at football, but he is relentless. That's what Anthony Barr and McKinnon are. They don't know their weaknesses. And we have the coaching staff that finally says, I don't give a shit about your weaknesses. This is what you're good at, and I'm going to put you in position to win. I don't think anyone on the planet anticipate Anthony Barr returning that fumble for a touchdown. No one. I don't think anyone on the planet figured that McKinnon would do what he's done.
No.
He was a triple option quarterback. He was the only quarterback in NCAA history to beat Florida without a single touchdown. It was insane. Now imagine you have the same skill sets behind the monster Adrian Peterson. That's unstoppable. And you have, even if Teddy Bridgewater is being the robot that he can sometimes be, that's insane. And the defense that okay, we were what? Second to last in the league last year? Worst defense ever? We are, last I checked, we were 4th in passing defense. That blew my mind. I literally didn't know what to say in the car. When I heard that, I was like, that's impossible. We are good against the run. You never hear Linval Joseph's name, which is perfect. He's just like Pat Williams. The last time we heard Pat Williams' name was when they were talking about how well he runs laterally, which is still ridiculous. I saw him at Target once. He has smaller legs than I do, but his midsection was about 3 times the size of my body. Linval Joseph is brilliant at taking on 2 blockers at the same time, allowing Sharif Floyd, who is actually playing like a first round defensive tackle, in on it. Xavier Rhodes still too handsy, but I love it.
I'm not the one with the erection here.
I'm full on. I'm hard as can be. I'm not gonna lie. This defense gets me. If my wife was here, I'd be having sex with her immediately. You'd be staring at her vagina. I'd be having sex with it and imagining the Vikings defense. Now imagine if we had AP and Kyle Rudolph. That's insane.
Fusco, I think, would be a big.
Oddly, and Fusco is the road grader
I
extraordinaire.
think you just went over the tip there.
Oh, that in combination with Aaron Andrews being on TV? Come on. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to masturbate right on this corner of the couch.
No, don't masturbate on.
I won't. Don't worry. I still have plenty to drink. And I have to get home because I have a dinner to go to. I think. I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure I'm being texted and asked what's going on. I heard stories before the season. Jay Gruden, the offensive coordinator for the Bengals, was leaving. Mike Zimmer was possibly leaving from the defensive coordinator position. I heard a lot about Mike Zimmer being the guy they were really afraid to lose. Less about Jay Gruden.
Mm-hmm.
I know Jay Gruden coached in the Arena Football League.
Beast mode.
So Jay Gruden... Jesus Christ, the understatement of the year. Jay Gruden is perfect for Robert Griffin. Especially being from the Arena Football League. Because Robert can run. You got to get him up to speed quickly, though. But everyone from the Bengals said, I don't care if we lose Jay. I care if we lose Mike. I didn't necessarily know what they were saying. My God, the adjustments that are made... I'm not even kidding. I have not been alive since this happened. Does it not blow your mind?
It does. It absolutely does. No, I've been very happy with Zimmer.
Like a series or 2, and you could already see adjustments made.
Yep.
That's insane. When has that ever happened for Vikings defense? Never is the answer.
Never happened.
I wish that Mike Zimmer were 40 years old so we could have longer time with him. He's gonna retire a Viking. There's no way, unless
his wife died, so he might coach for a long time. Because what else is he gonna do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he even said that he's got a bed in his office that folds down from the wall because he has nothing else to do. So I kind of wish he was 40 because then he would never leave the Vikings. I feel bad that he's in his 50s because we have less time with him. The work he is doing is a miracle. The last I looked, we were 4th in passing defense. I can't even tell you how much that blows my mind.
That's where you started this rant. You realize that stat?
That's how much it blows my mind. That I'm so far away from where I started.
Okay, so you think a win this week?
Oh my God. First off, I do not believe in the Bears' offensive line.
Okay.
One bit. And second, I believe in Zimmer against Cutler 100% of the time. I have Cutler as my quarterback in fantasy football.
Do you want to trade him back to me for nothing?
I won't trade him for nothing because we have really odd scoring. So he does well even when he sucks balls. But I'm not even kidding. I am questioning starting him because I fully believe that the Vikings will prevail. I can't believe I've ever said that in my life. I am literally 50-50 from trying to buy tickets for you, me, and my trainer to go to the Bears to watch this game because I fully believe in onslaught.
I think if we keep this podcast going long enough, you'll have done it by the end of the podcast.
You think that won't happen? Oh, it'll happen. If I had a laptop in front of me, I would have bought tickets already.
You have your phone.
I do, but people are texting me, and they're texting me questions like, how do I listen to this? And I'm like, please, bitches, this is how it works.
Okay, so
Get us back on track. I am
do we have any other thoughts on the Bears game?
Outside of, I literally think we'll dominate. I don't think so.
Okay.
And it's not because I'm mildly intoxicated, which, let's be honest, I am. It's because I don't trust the Bears offense against Mike Zimmer. I love, who's their coach? What's his name?
Threshman. Threshman.
That's not completely accurate. He's from St. Louis Park.
Like Threshman?
Fuck, what's his name? It doesn't matter. I like him as a quarterback whisperer. But I feel like we have the ultimate defensive whisperer ever. Have you seen this defense ever play this good?
No.
The same defense that allowed how many fourth quarter comebacks? And yes, we lost to the Bills on the last play of the game. But it was because they were in hurry-up mode and we did not. We're in hurry-up mode. Chad Greenway could have stopped it, but he wasn't deep enough. I totally get it. Mistakes, shit happens. I have never believed in a coaching staff this much. Not since Denny Green. I have a man crush on Mike Tice, and it doesn't matter. Bless you. It doesn't matter. Mike Zimmer is smarter than the average Bear. I fully believe he lives and breathes football like Brett Favre. And so I don't think there's a way we lose unless we make mistakes that are uncommon. Even if we make our common mistakes, I think we win because I think we did enough over the week to self-scout where we make changes that are uncommon. Kind of like I really thought Iowa Hawkeyes would beat the Gophers this weekend, and it was so the other way.
They really put a beat down.
50-something to 7, wasn't it?
14. They scored. It was 51 to 14.
At that point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was a late touchdown.
But the Gophers had a bye. I think it's the same scenario. Vikings have a bye. They've self-scouted. It doesn't matter how the Bears face the Packers. The Packers probably win because they're a better team. And then we just destroy the Bears. And I still feel like in the end we beat the Detroit Lions at home.
At their home.
At their home. And the Packers represent the NFC North in the playoffs.
All right.
I love Teddy Bridgewater.
I know.
I would marry his mom just to be close to him. I'll do it.
So, the big news over the bye has been talk of, AP's court case was settled. The NFL is really dragging its feet, reinstating him, even though that's starting to piss off some people. The union filed a protest.
It is.
There are reports that the reason the NFL is dragging its feet is on behalf of the Vikings because the Vikings are unsure what to do with him.
I have a response to that.
Okay, then let's hear your response.
I originally heard the same thing, that the Vikings were divided in terms of what to do with AP. That the front office was unsure, but the coaching staff obviously wants AP, the greatest running back in our current
So
history.
you did hear someone report that the coaching staff was definitely pushing. They weren't being silent on this issue?
Agree.
I was asking
Yes.
the question.
Yes, I
Okay.
agree. But from what I hear, the people who are against Adrian coming back are not coaching staff members, are not front office members. They are members who are, their job is not reliant on wins and losses. So, yes, they're front office members, but they're members that it doesn't matter how the team does. They're going to keep their job. They're like, well, he beat a kid. And yes, that is important. But in terms of the rules that are currently set, he should have been, a determining factor should have been happened. He joined the inactive list voluntarily based on the fact that once his legal problems were resolved, he would immediately leave the inactive list. Now, whether that means the Vikings suspend him, the NFL suspend him, it doesn't mean he's necessarily active. But he has not been active. He's been kept on that list.
Yeah, that seems like bullshit. Make a decision one way or another on
so
that.
the report that the Vikings are divided is kind of misleading, because I think that the football aspect of the Vikings are not divided. I think Rick Spielman and his front office team would like Adrian back, because even if they disagree with what he did, they don't ask for him back if they had already placed him back. Because remember, they deactivated him for a game and then brought him back immediately. That's not a coaching staff decision. That's a front office decision.
Yep.
So the only people who determine that he's not welcome back are people who don't actually have a say in the football operations. So it's technically true that there's a division, but from the football aspect, and I've even heard from the Wilfs, that the Wilfs are in favor of bringing him back. I mean, even from a business aspect, as a business owner, if you have the best running back in football and you're paying him so that he's the best running back in the NFL, you bring him back. Dante Stallworth killed the guy. Literally ran him down in the crosswalk.
Yes, he did.
What's the guy from the Cowboys?
Oh, I forget his name. Brent or something. Or was Brent the guy that died?
He killed a teammate. I understand that children is very different, but come on. It doesn't matter how I feel about the situation. He's due to come back. I think that's just fact. So I think he comes back. I'm not sure he comes back for the Bears game. Even if he does, as much as I love Adrian's work ethic, I'm not sure he's completely ready with game plan. He's got to be ready for Tuesday to be able to play on Sunday. I think of him as the next game. But
I could see them suspending him for 2 more games just to not let him back right away, just because they don't want what happened last time to happen again.
Sure.
And I'd be fine with that. I'd be fine with them if they played him right away. But a decision needs to be made, I think, is the big thing at this point.
I think that sponsorship is a definite factor. They did lose the Radisson through it.
Did Radisson not come back?
Well, it's suspended indefinitely,
Okay.
right? So can they come back next year? Sure. And I understand from their standpoint the business aspect of should we stay suspended so we don't hurt our viewership. I don't have a problem with it, but I think I don't think he would, even though he's a physical specimen and he's probably worked out this entire time. I don't think he would necessarily be ready with the game plan for Chicago, even if he was reinstated tomorrow. I think he would have it.
So then have him be suspended their game or something, and then you get the benefit. You let him practice with the team again, but not play.
I think it's yes. I agree that he should practice with the team but not play. I think he probably does his work in order to get ready to play. But
there's another team that made halftime adjustments.
But he needs to be ready. Demetrius Thomas, which you call Demarius Thomas.
No, that was Julius, unfortunately.
I think he needs to be ready to play, and I'm not sure he's completely ready. The benefit to him is that he spent all of training camp with the Vikings, so he knows the general idea of what we're trying to accomplish. So I don't think he plays against the Bears. I think he plays next week. And I think the NFL suspending him is probably retroactive, and I think they fine him maybe for the rest of the year, and he gets paid nothing. I have to go to the bathroom.
All right. Well, I think are we done? Okay, I think that we'll end it on Luke saying that he needs to pee so bad. Thanks for listening to this special bye week episode, and we'll see you next week.